Hello everyone, my name is Shreya and I'm a legal intern at Lexis and Company. I am pursuing BLLB honors from Law College Dehradun Uttaranchal University. I am currently in 7th semester and I am glad to have this opportunity of interning at Lexis and Company, because of which I am able to present to you guys with this video. So the purpose and topic of this video is the Trade Union Act 1926, its introduction, the general provisions about the general introductory provisions about the Trade Union Act 1926. So let's begin. So first of all, I'll tell you the enforcement date. It was enforced on 1st June 1927 and it is applicable to the whole of India, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And the total sections in this act are 33 and the total chapters in this act are 5. So this was the basic info about the Trade Union Act 1926. And moving on to its definition under the Trade Union Act, the definition of trade union, it is defined in section 2H of the act of the Trade Union Act 1926. So what it says about the trade union is that it means any combination, whether temporary or permanent, which is formed primarily for the purpose of regulating the relations between, again, the same three categories which I have mentioned earlier also, that is between the workmen and the employers, and between the workman and the workman, and the employer and the employer. So, and also for imposing restrictive conditions on the conduct of any trade or business, and includes any federation of two or more trade union. So trade union is like, it may be single also, and it may be a union or a federation of two or more trade unions also, and it regulates the relation between these three categories, that is the workman and workman, employer and employer, and workman and employer. So there is a proviso to this also, that this act shall not be applicable in three conditions. That is, first, it will not have any effect on any agreement between the parties as to their own business, and second, any agreement between an employer and those employed by, and the persons who are employed by him as to such employment, as a result of such employment, and third, any agreement in consideration of the sale of the goodwill of a business or of construction in any profession, trade or handicraft. So these were the three conditions where the Trade Union Act will not be applicable in these three kinds of agreement, which are also mentioned in section 2H of the Trade Union Act. So moving on to the essential ingredients of the trade union according to the Trade Union Act. First, there must be temporary or permanent combination between the employer and employer, employer and workman, or between the workman and workman. They should be either temporary or permanent combination between these three categories of people. And second, such combination must be regulating the relation between the parties, or for imposing condition on the conduct of any trade or business. That is, there should be some trade or business. It's the conduct of any trade or business where these are the parties to the trade union, and there must be a certain relation between these parties. And third, such combination includes any federation of two or more trade union. That is, such federation should either have, there should be any combination which includes the federation of two or more trade union. And next, the provision of the act shall not affect any agreement which exists between the partner regarding their business, and it shall also not effect if an agreement exists between the employer and the person employed by them. There is another act by which such parties may be governed if an agreement is between these categories. And the last was where such is not applicable is that any agreement which is in consideration of the sale of the goodwill of a business or for the construction in any profession, trade or handicraft. So these were the essentials in brief. And moving on to the object of the act, which is there are four main objects of this act. First, the collective object of the trade union, which is collective bargaining. Next, it also provides for the registration of the trade union, which I'll discuss about in my next video. And to regulate the relation between the parties, I have discussed you about the disputes which arise between the parties to the trade union, which such disputes are also to be resolved through this act. And next, to impose restrictive condition on the conduct of any trade or business or any profession, etc. So these are the objectives of the act. And if we speak about the cases regarding these act are, first, in the case of Bank of India Employees Association versus RBI, it was held by the court that the primary object of the trade union is collective bargaining. And in the case of Trimala Tirupati Devasthanam versus Commissioner of Labour, the Supreme Court held that any group of a trade union under the act for the purpose of regulating the relations between them and their employer or between themselves. Basically, in these two cases, the objectives of the act are also defined. So moving on to the other cases regarding the cases relating to the trade union are important. This is a very important case, the Food Corporation of India Staff Union versus the Food Corporation of India and others. Here the Supreme Court had held that more than one unions which claims representative character, then the method of secret ballot should be adopted to ascertain the correct position of that trade union as regards their membership of different trade union. That is, it explains the case when there are two similar trade unions. So this was held in Food Corporation of India Staff Union versus Food Corporation of India and others. And next, there was the case of National Organization of Banks Workers Federation of Trade Union versus the Union of India and others. And here the Bombay High Court had held that where a federation of trade union is not registered, then it is not then it will not be called as a trade union under the act. That is, it is important to register the trade union to be called under this act, so that we can give it a name of a proper trade union. And yeah, this was all about the Trade Union Act 1926. I have discussed with you guys the introductory part of it, and I hope you guys have liked the video. If you have any question to ask me, and share the feedback also. And yeah, please like and share this video also. Thank you everyone for watching.